Scoundrels web series and podcast is filmed and recorded in their ship, the Centurion Vulture, and may contain language not suitable for all. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Scoundrels, y'all. We are broadcasting from the finest hunk of junk in the galaxy, the Centurion Vulture. I'm CG.
I am Paul Bannister.
Curtis Wayne Mellard standing by.
We are three grown-ass men discussing Star Wars as always. I'm pretty sure today we're orbiting somewhere outside of the Hoth system because it is cold as a nun's ass.
Yeah, dude. There's a
Good
fucking...
God.
There's a cold front rolling through Cloud City.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. So we're talking Andor, of course, and I believe, what is this, episode 10 that we all just watched?
Yeah.
I mean, the short version is holy shit. CG, you start, because I know you're bursting at the seams, as we all are.
This is heavy.
Why don't you kick us off?
I don't think this is just the best Star Wars show I've seen.
I know where you're going, I agree.
This is becoming my favorite show ever.
Yep.
Ever.
More better than... What's your other favorite? What's your second?
Mad Men is probably, I would say, my favorite show I've watched. Start to
Fascinating.
Finish. Just from start to finish, I think Mad Men is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
If I had a gun to my head. But now, honestly,
I totally agree.
I've never, I just want to take a moment to thank everybody involved in this show.
Yep.
I'm not even kidding.
I'm with you.
From costumes, from editing, to writing. It's what my frustrations are with other Star Wars projects is where people are just like, yeah, I'll just do a project, I guess. But to see someone take it so seriously,
yes,
and the dialogue is poetry.
It totally is. The Luthen on the walkway at the end.
It's good.
Holy shit! I wrote down
that fucking monologue.
Yeah.
I said the same thing. I think we did touch on that the other day. We might have cheated.
Oh, dude.
Or maybe it was just Genevieve. No, it was. But Genevieve and I watched it, and it was over, and I was like, just that last scene with Luthen talking to the mole or whatever his name is, that was fucking poetry.
I've made my mind a sunless space. I wrote it down. I share my dreams with ghosts. I burn my life for a sunrise I will never see.
Take it easy, Robert Frost. Slow your roll.
Kiss my ass, Shakespeare.
Fuck yeah. Suck a dick, Shakespeare. We got Andor.
And just the whole
Shakespeare would probably suck your dick.
Yeah. He probably would.
Probably feel good.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But
Shakespeare blowjob.
I can't believe it. I'm in awe of every time I see an episode. And I was going back, I was like, how many characters have we been introduced to that have come and gone? Most shows are afraid to kill off a character that someone might like. Well, if we kill off Daryl from Walking Dead, no one's going to watch it anymore. But this show is not only they're not afraid to bring someone in and take them out, and then you're constantly getting brought in new characters that you're loving. And I know we can go through but that scene, the prison break scene,
oh man,
where they finally get out, and the music swelling there is gorgeous, and that look when he looks over and he's like, I can't swim, was like
circuses.
I was like,
oh yeah, Genevieve I looked over and she had tears.
I was crying. I was crying.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
You cried.
I cried. I'm not afraid to cry.
Hey, one thing. I just looked up there. We can't thank everybody, but maybe next we can thank one person each episode.
Oh, yeah.
So today I'm going to do costume design.
Oh yeah. Holy shit.
You're killing it, Michael Wilkinson.
Michael Wilkinson, you're a fucking
champion. Thank you. Maybe we'll find you on something.
Jesus.
Whatever it is, you're a fucking hero.
You are.
Yeah, I had the same thought, CG. I thought to myself, never in my wildest dreams did I think I would be lucky enough in my lifetime to have new Star Wars stories that were done with this level of professionalism and it's the writing, everything you said.
It came out of nowhere too.
It's so good, and the fact that it's this good with no Force elements, no Jedi, which is insane. Now I can't help but feel like,
that's the crazy thing.
Imagine if we got writing this good when there was Force and Jedi. Look,
maybe this acolyte shit.
Yeah, maybe. Or also they're just learning that if you put this much... look, the good news is this is critically acclaimed. It's got great critic scores. Of course, there's some fans that don't love it. That's fine. But in terms of just people who watch television, this is the thing that I think actually has a chance of getting non-Star Wars people into the world. Yeah. Because I think you're right. This is not just a good Star Wars show. This is a top-notch TV series. Yeah. I mean, I read a thing, was a Gizmodo leaked to a review, not leaked to a review that was just like, give them all the Emmys now.
Please.
Because honestly, from a writing, costume department,
music, even
all of it,
good.
casting.
There's not many people here series that do casting. Period in any genre that I think is doing it as well as this show is. I totally agree with you. It's not even about Star Wars anymore. It's just top notch fucking filmmaking.
It's storytelling.
So good.
Storytelling is so powerful. Power doesn't panic when he says that.
Yeah, the writing is so goddamn good, and to think about the whole Prison Break narrative. That is a 3-episode story arc within a 12-episode season. The fact that, and it's worth noting, the prison story is one of a handful of stories we're following. So in a given 45-minute episode, maybe 15 to 20 minutes is dedicated to this. So within probably a total of maybe 45 minutes total screen time of the prison narrative, that's storyline, it's that emotional, you're that involved with that little time, that is genius writing. To get that level of build up in the story, to have that kind of momentum and emotional release and tension to build in only 45 minutes of screen time.
I've never seen it
It's
done
a testament to the writing. I'll say it again. Fucking Andy Serkis is a goddamn hero. Shit. The amount of that scene where he's on the loudspeaker and you can tell he's kind of struggling, and Andor's like, you got to really give him the nuts and make these people believe it. And the way he starts to build, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps right now.
You're giving me goosebumps.
Like the way he starts building up and getting more and more worked up, and by the end of it, he's like, get up, and everyone's fucking running. You're like, fucking. It's so.
He's the glue that makes that prison, the whole prison. I guess you'd call it a story arc.
Yep.
He's the glue that actually makes that work. I mean, fuck, dude. Imagine having someone that wasn't. I don't even fuck, dude. I don't know if there's anyone on the planet that could have done it like him.
No.
He's such an important part of what made that work.
But just think about one little thing doesn't work and the whole fucking thing falls apart. Filmmaking's so difficult.
I know. Are we 100% certain that he is dead?
I don't know. Well, that's no.
It's a mystery.
Point. What I love about the writing in this show is they could never show him again. They could or not.
Yeah.
But I keep going back to your viewer is smarter than you think. We know exactly if they never show him again. We know exactly what happened. He probably drowned or died. But you don't have to show that.
You don't need to show every goddamn thing.
Not showing it that is more powerful. It's more powerful not showing him floating in the water.
Yep. I know if it's me and I can't swim, I'm gonna try.
Yep. Or someone helps him. I mean, for all we know, and this is kind of the idea that I like if he somehow does come back around, is that it would be in season 2. In a chronological 2 or 3 years from now. And it would be fun to see that Andor's path happens to cross again with this guy.
And he's wearing a life preserver.
And he's still wearing because he's so scared. But, he's probably got his own journey, and they happen to come back around full circle and see each other again. In that moment when they realize that, oh my God, I thought I'd never see you again. Again, and I'm like you. If he never shows up again, that works as well.
And you know it happened.
And
both are equally as powerful.
Yeah, they're both as equally as powerful.
It couldn't be. It was such a fucking gut punch that after all that, and they're on the ledge of jumping in the fucking water, and he's like, "You can't swim." I'm like, "Motherfucker, can't swim."
Yeah.
But shit, you know what though? It's like it is surrounded by water. It had to be in his mind the whole time.
Yeah, but it's kind of, I can't tell. It was like almost a slight smile on his, it's almost like we did it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like just the whole thing. It's like I'd rather die
when he repeats Andor's line.
Yeah. Than die giving them what they want.
For real. One cool line was like. We must be built. Obviously, we're building something that is very important to them.
That was all but a confirmation that it's the Death Star.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that Paul and I did mention is everyone kind of knows it's probably the Death Star, but they're not spoon feeding it to us because they don't have to.
No, they don't have to.
Yeah,
it makes it more interesting. It's not it's not going to be some big reveal if and when they formally confirm that's what it is.
Right.
But the fact that they're not telling us that they're not telling us explicitly that it is, or that they're making an effort to tell us that it's not, is the smart part.
The Death Star's probably pretty far along by now. Wait.
Well, they had the plans for it in one of the prequels, like, hey, this is what we're gonna build.
But
and
you
then
see this
some of the
really
Clone
in the
War
prequels?
no, is it the Clone War? Or
At the
Rebels?
end of episode 3, you see the structure, like the outer structure of it being built.
Oh, is that right?
And
Yeah.
then in
Jesus.
Rebels, the animated series, they're talking about it, and that's honestly Rebels. I think is in the same time period as this.
Yeah,
so they're building it. They're
one of the clever things that they did in Rogue One is they were like, we're having trouble figuring things out on like exactly how to do this.
Yeah.
That's why it took so long to build. But the reason why they got the Death Star 2 done so fast because they already
Figured it out.
worked out these kinks.
They knew what to do.
I'm
just
so glad
rebuilding.
that guy put that hole in there though.
Yeah. What's
Urso.
Urso? Yeah, right.
Science Officer Urso.
Yeah.
Dude, well, there's so many little things, and I noticed when they cut to the scene on Ferrix, and Cinta's watching Andor's mom, they cut to a guy who's just kind of sitting there, and he's like watching her, and it was just like I actually went back to see. I was like, is he? Because it's like they lingered on this guy. It showed her talking to the doctor, and then it showed Cinta walking.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then they cut to this other guy in a hat, just kind of looking, and it's like,
Yeah.
who the? And I have a weird. What if this is like a stretch? I don't know if y'all have.
Was
any
it a guard?
predictions. No, it was just a
No.
guy in normal clothes.
You're right. I remember that now.
Where
Yeah,
was
yeah.
this
Very
at?
subtle. I don't know who he is, but
Yeah,
that's
we
the
don't
thing
know.
about this.
What setup was it or location?
It was on Ferrix where Andor's mom is and Bix is.
Okay.
So Cinta is hanging out on.
Dude, I didn't even see that shit.
Yeah, and no, it was so subtle.
But you're
where-
right. They lingered on him in a way that was intentional.
And he was looking because he kind of looked at her, and it's like I had this thought. I was like, maybe, and because you mentioned the sister thing, Cinta could possibly be his sister. Only because when I rewatched, because she doesn't know his real name when he shows up to do the heist, he's as Clem.
Yeah.
He didn't say his
They
name's
never-
Andor.
Oh yeah.
Even though
Well,
they cut-
she knows now because
That's why, but that might be why she's so like, fuck off, Vel. I'm dead focused on this. Because this is a stretch. This could be a stretch storyline, because when they find out that the lieutenant, the guy who was taking him into the heist, who was leading, was a stormtrooper. Scorn says
Yeah.
like he was a stormtrooper. He's like, you're glad, you should be glad you weren't here when Cinta found out, because they killed her whole family. And they always talk about how Canary, how they all got slaughtered, how
Yeah.
everyone on Canary got slaughtered.
Yeah.
And it's a stretch, but it's
like
like,
man.
it's possible though. You're right. There's nothing that we've been presented with that would make that impossible.
because she seems very like, because I went back and when Vel's talking to her like, hey, and she's like, she seems like dead focused on Andor.
Yeah.
Cinta does.
Yeah.
It's a stretch. That's a stretch prediction for me.
Hey man.
But that's the thing. It's like it's like my mind is just filled with, I'm sorry, I'm just pumped up.
Well, these
guys.
people are
Fuck
smart enough
yeah.
to pull something like that
Yeah,
off.
But
Yeah.
like it's just filled with so many options and like what's gonna happen. And it's like what's coming up. Like we knew the prison break was coming up, but like how they deliver things
Yeah.
is just
Yeah.
smart.
It's astonishing.
It's
That's a good
really-
prison break, man.
Fuck yeah, it
Unbelievable.
was. Who do you think that guy is? Do you think he's a rebel?
I don't know.
Like Luthen has sent someone on
Rebel,
separate
rebel.
from Cinta that she doesn't know. I mean, I
have no
have no
idea.
idea. It makes you wonder. Like Luthen's so cutthroat. The thing that was also
Yeah,
genius.
Luthen's a fucking
Yeah.
cold-blooded bastard.
He is, but it's really smart because that's what I think is really smart about it. Is we've touched on this in the other episodes, but it's not cut and dry. It's not black and white. There's
It's not
gray
black and
areas
white.
here. He knows that it's going to take some gnarly behavior to get this fucking thing going, and you can debate all day long whether it's the right method or not. But at that scene, aside from just being crazy well written, that scene, that monologue on the walkway when he's talking to that guy at the end of the episode,
Lonnie
that
Hutton.
was like his whole mission statement.
Yeah.
It like summarized his whole character, what he represents. It gave us a really articulate, poetic explanation for his behaviors. So now we know his approach and what motivates him, what sacrifices. It's like it took us 10 episodes, and then he basically just read us a monologue that's like the mission statement
Poetry.
for his character. And it not only does it make sense of everything he's done and will likely continue to do. I think we all know, by the way, that guy's clearly going to die at some point, right?
Yeah,
I
he's
feel like
gotta.
Luthen before the series, maybe it's in the second season.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to make it out of
Well, it
this
wouldn't
alive.
make a lot of sense for him not to be in Rogue One. Well, maybe it is though. Maybe it does because
I think that's the fun of this stuff, though. I think the stakes are high, and I think that's part of it. He'll be this instrumental character that helped get the rebellion going, and then at some point, I mean, maybe the consequence of him being so cutthroat is eventually it'll bite him in the ass. Yeah. And it's what takes him down.
Because Saw Gerrera, like, doesn't really become a part of the... Like, the rebellion ends up kind of being more the better... Like, the more good side.
Yeah.
Than the more extreme side. Right. Like, you know, when we get to New Hope, but... Obviously, New Hope is a different tone than this.
Yeah. What happened? Do we know what happens to Saul? I can't remember. It's in Rogue One.
Dude, he dies. He dies. The motherfucker gets demolished by the Death Star. Takes his ass out.
That's right.
When they were testing it on Jeddah.
Right.
Jedda's cool. Jeddah was a cool joint.
Jeddah was cool. Yeah. I love that.
Saul's buddy, crew looks cool too.
Oh yeah, I just did a watch up on like they went through his crew, but like it's so how tactile is this show? Like you said, it's like how are they affording? How did Kenobi look so like low budget? And there was like I forget what scene it was. I think it's where Lonnie was maybe walking to go meet Luke, and it's just like look. The in depth of the characters around and like the creatures of like such like holy shit.
I don't think I've had one moment where something stuck out to me as not good.
Yeah. Well, I think part of it too, if you look at it from that perspective, I think it's a testament to how well it's being presented that we don't think about it in a different way. But really, a lot of the scenes are using the same sets episode to episode. Like the whole prison storyline is really like 4, maybe 5 sets that represent the prison. So they built those sets and then they got to use them for 3 episodes.
And
you know what I mean? And it's not like those sets look amazing because it's great production design, but it's not like those sets were massive outdoor locations or whatever else. They built them and then they shot 3 episodes and made up a good chunk of an entire storyline.
And they created scale with like it's the same room they're filming in when they're building things, but the illusion of like they're just going to different sectors.
It's like 3 or 4 sets.
Yeah.
One thing they did that was important is they actually when they were on the the heist, whatever planet, what was the heist planet? It was kind of the green hilly. Well, they actually went to a real place.
Amen.
That helps a lot.
Yeah.
It's probably expensive. No one likes traveling, but what do they call that? The stage, the volume stage?
Yeah.
It's not as great for outdoor locations.
Yeah. Well, and you're right. And the thing about going to that physical location, aside from just looking fantastic and making it feel real, that was 3-4 episodes. So like more than a third of the whole season, the most important storyline is just shot on outdoors. And by the way, they're fucking camping. So it's not like they had to build some giant structure for all those episodes. Most of that shit, I mean, look around. It was like a makeshift tent and some set pieces. But you don't think about it like that because the storytelling's so good and you're so engaged in what they're saying and what you're learning that you're not... It's almost like, yes, Obi-Wan looked shittier, but it's easier for us to look around and examine the surroundings because we're not that engaged. I'm not fucking invested in anything.
I'm out of my fucking mind with that shit.
You are starting to, things pop up because like you're like, what the fuck?
Out of it.
You're hanging on every word the characters say in Andor, so of course you're not critiquing their surroundings. But by the way, the surroundings look great. Whereas in Obi-Wan, you're spending half the time thinking, what the fuck? And so you start looking around like, well, what else is not good? You know what? This whole fucking thing looks low budget.
Yeah, you get that little gate. You're like, well, maybe I could just walk around the gate.
God,
yeah,
shit,
right?
Like,
holy fuck.
But even like the Vader's fire thing, it wasn't enough fire. Like, I can maybe buy that Vader's scared of fire, but it wasn't enough fire.
It needed to be. Like, it was like, just walk around you.
If it was like a fucking massive explosion or something you couldn't see through or something, that would have helped.
It's hard to believe
those motherfuckers had no clue what they were doing.
Favreau can't. Maybe he will say it to nobody. Maybe just at home with his wife when no one's around, he acknowledges it. But clearly, this dude watching Obi-Wan and now watching Andor has got to believe, like, man, Andor's fucking better.
Yeah, no shit.
You know, like he's just too good a storyteller to not know, unless he's just convinced himself that it's just apples and oranges and it's just a different flavor.
Well,
but don't be fucking with apples and oranges with someone like Obi-Wan or Vader.
People get off on these. They want to see these legacy characters. I hate when people's like, Andor's good. It's not as good as Kenobi. I'm like, shut your mouth hole.
Who the fuck is saying that?
And I even got vibes when the Luther and Lonnie scene, I just got, like, when the doors open, I was like, this reminds me of Empire Strikes Back. The wind and the fucking cape. It's like, holy shit.
Epic visual moments because they know that's what appeals to all of us about that. I mean, it's really you could just take the word Star Wars off of it, and it's just a crazy well done sci-fi series.
Yeah, there could be a Star Trek series and be badass, or just make up something.
Yeah,
Firefly or some bullshit. It's just
like the best new sci-fi series. I mean, again, I always reference her because she's a Star Wars. She likes Star Wars, but she's not invested in the franchise.
Yeah.
Genevieve is like desperate for the next episode to come out each week, just because the show is done.
I'm always
that well.
stoked to watch.
Yeah,
and I usually watch them twice.
Oh yeah. Well,
Same.
Just going back and watch. I noticed it's too. We mentioned about last week how the music was different. The music was different a couple times. I noticed in the opening sequence. Do you think because obviously the ISB is going to investigate this prison break. This is going to be a big situation.
I gotta
Do you think are they going to see
connect the dots?
Andor, there he is. Are they going to be like?
Oh, you think there's cameras or something?
Well, yeah, I'm sure there's cameras.
I'm sure they
in
documented
there.
everybody.
So I wonder if they're going to be like, there's Andor. But I'm not sure. That's the thing. It's like I talk about every week.
Well, man, eventually, like maybe. I mean, this is just the storytelling that goes on the back of my head, which is what makes things fun. You become a child. You're like, I bet a fucking Star Destroyer showed up.
Yeah.
And a bunch of stormtroopers started whipping people's ass.
Yeah. You imagine what happens next because it's so well done. You're like, well, surely.
Would Vader show up to this? No, probably not. But I bet you there's a legion of stormtroopers down there fucking popping people off.
Because they're not trying to fuck up with the operation that builds the Death Star.
Well, they think about how tight.
Start fucking with that Death Star. The Emperor is gonna start shocking people.
Oh yeah, it's. Well, I think we're gonna see that. It's exactly what Luther wants. He's like, the
Emperor is not as forgiving.
Closing their fist now.
Remember when Vader was like, the Emperor is not like as patient or forgiving as I am, and that dude was like, God damn it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got this dude rolling in now.
Like someone's about to get choked or fucking shot.
We shall double our efforts.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Guess we're gonna have to figure this out.
The thing that's also exciting is, I mean, that episode was so good that could have just been the season finale, and we'd all be in here like,
it would have been a good finale.
We still have the 2 final episodes.
2 episodes.
So there still has to be some relative big finish, which is crazy to think that that's not the big finish.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like at some point, like how is he getting off that island? No one or the planet.
I think it's to me what's clearly going to happen in the last 2. Whether he personally goes back to Ferrex, the Ferrex characters are going to have some sort of resolution. Like I think the mother will die before the end of this season. Yeah, we don't know whether or not.
Not only is she old, she also kind of has like a wild and crazy death wish.
It's going to be some.
What else am I going to do?
It's going to be some sort of blaze of glory. I'm going down in a blaze of glory for the rebellion.
Yeah,
and for all we know, her last words to Andor will be like, you got to blah blah blah. And I think that's clearly how this season will end. He'll finally, by the end of it, be on the fucking cause.
Yeah. Do you know? I mean, we still have Nemec's manifesto. I mean, he was given it to it, and it was never brought up again.
Oh, that's right.
That's probably going to find its way in the hands of Mon Mothma. It's crazy. Mon Mothma wasn't in New Hope. She was only in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, they referenced her in
New
Hope, right?
I don't know. It's hard to.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. But she.
Do you think? Sorry, go ahead.
She only turned up in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And these.
All the
are there going to be Bothans?
I'd love to finally figure out what the fuck a Bothan looks like.
That's dude. I hope there's a Bothan series.
Do we know what
Rogue
Bothans
2.
look like? There's probably people that follow more of the
Rogue 2. Fall of the Bothans.
Fall of the Bothans.
Did you say Rogue 2?
Yeah.
Fall of the Bothans.
Bothan barbecue.
Yeah, the Mon Mothma story is continually interesting. I'm really at some point. Like, when is she going to peace out? Like, she can't stay in fucking
getting close.
Well, I think
kind of hot.
That's probably going to be a cool moment.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like, she may leave under duress.
Oh, yeah. I think that's the deal, right? They're moving all the chess pieces, and by the end of the season, there's 2 more episodes, all the chess pieces will have officially been moved from their original locations.
Yeah.
I mean, Mon Mothma will be out of Coruscant by the end of season 1. And by season 2, when it's covering the next 4 years, she'll be a leader in the rebellion, and probably on fucking Yavin.
I wonder what, like, the Emperor... Look, one of the things about the Emperor is, like, even no matter what happens, he never really gets stressed out. Luke is like, we got people down there, we got your shield down. And
dude, he sees it all.
He's just like, man, I kind of know. I know.
Yeah.
Foresees it all.
But that is his weakness.
Right. Yeah,
and then
true.
Luke's faith in his friend is his.
Yeah.
That's true. That was an interesting, like, what's going to happen with that? I forget his name. The guy
he didn't account for Darth Vader coming back, though.
But just for the record, and I still have a stick in my side about this, his faith in his friends is ultimately what let him win. But yet, when it comes to Grogu, no, man, friends are bad. You can't have friends and be a
it doesn't
Jedi.
make any
yet
sense.
Somehow, friends are the only fucking reason he's even alive.
Well, that, and then all of a sudden, like, he doesn't want to help his friends when we get down to The Last Jedi.
It seems totally contradictory. The whole storyline of the original trilogy is that, like, overly religious dogma is bad.
Yeah.
Friendships are what matter.
Yeah.
And then yet, when it comes to Grogu, Luke's like, listen, man, you can either be a Jedi or
just
you
trying
can...
to write Luke
Grogu,
out.
we're talking about Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Well, that too.
Well, no. Well, the
Come
funny thing,
on.
watching this show, it's like kind of pissed me off about some stuff. It's like, man, how, like... what a cool time period. You're making it your own. You're creating this rebellion because like we say, you dive right into A New Hope. It's like everything's, and I was like, it started making me think about the sequels, and it kind of pissed me off. I was like, you know what? You just did the same like thing as A New Hope. Why did like you're just like, how did the Empire rise again? It's like, didn't we defeat them? And now they're just right back where they were with a bigger fucking dick gun.
I was so stoked about Force Awakens, mostly because it didn't suck.
Yeah,
but
it didn't suck.
As time goes on, it would be nice if we just didn't get a rehash.
Well, wouldn't it be cool if it was like like it was a different take? It's like, what if there was some internal struggle with the rebellion instead of making it the same stormtrooper like Empire versus the rebels? Like,
or if just like some rogue cell of like Force users came up and threatened things, but it wasn't the Empire. You know, man, fucking hindsight's 2020.
Well, just exactly, but it just this show, it just kind of really started making me think is like, this is what happens when you take something seriously and you're a good writer and you're a good director and you got Disney, you got all these assets with you, and you really focus on something and you make it this great. Like, I think that's like
the cool thing about it, though. It is a risk, and they were able to take those risks because it wasn't Luke Skywalker or Obi-Wan Kenobi. But thank God they did, because it did come out of nowhere. And fuck, I never would have thought a Star Wars show would be this intelligent. Yeah. I literally didn't think it would ever happen.
How risky is it? It's a
little risk because they're messing with a big. This is the birth
Star
of the
Wars
rebellion.
has always been like kind of like space opera sort of Flash
you
Gordon.
Mean risky and changing the tone.
The tone.
I understand what you're saying. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, no. It's so smart and so intelligent, and Star Wars has always kind of been bubble gummy.
Yeah, of course.
Like
Saturday morning cereal.
But
what's Flesh Buck Rogers esque?
Yeah, I mean cereal is in like the episodes,
can still
not
watch
the
this.
food.
Like,
I love both of those.
There's a lot of shows I can't watch. Like, I can't watch Lord of the Rings with my kids. I can't watch like
maybe.
But no, I started watching with the orcs and stuff. It's too.
I guess
the
you're
orcs
right.
are pretty
But this,
fucking
it's
gnarly.
like, because I was thinking the same thing. It's dark and but it's not scary.
They
or
might
spooky.
be bored, but they're not going to be.
But there's nothing like overly like they can watch it and be like, oh, this is. And my actually sense of Star Wars every time he's like Star Wars.
Have you hit your kids with A New Hope?
Not yet.
What's the plan on that?
Well, I think he's too young to process things, but he does say Star Wars, and he'll say.
What's a good
Force.
age for like a kid to watch that?
I don't know. I think like
5?
when you get to like 5, 6, like my first movie I saw was the first original Batman in theaters. I was 4.
Batman '89.
Batman '89.
Shit, that's kind of dark.
And my dad was like, this might be too much, and I was just like, yes. It was all Batman from then on.
Batman from here on out.
Star Wars every time, because my son I'll tell him to turn the fan on, and I'll use the Force, so he'll do that now. He'll turn the fan on. And use the Force. And Lindsay's like, damn it.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening,
dude? Well, man, fucking A, y'all. Next episode's here in a bit.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be Ferrex has clearly got to get wrapped up in some capacity. I think it's going to be really interesting to see if Bix makes it out of this season alive or not.
If Luthen makes it out of season alive.
I mean, that's what's fun, right? All these characters you said this in the last episode. I genuinely have no idea, and I'm genuinely stoked to see how it plays out in either direction.
Yeah, I'm excited for Saul Guerrero to start getting in the mix, honestly.
I think that's going to be a season 2. I bet season 2 he's going to be all up in the mix. And then we're going to eventually meet this Krieger guy, right?
Yeah. Well, isn't he going to maybe sacrificed?
Yeah. Oh, right.
Because he's like, he's got to die.
Oh, of course. That's right.
Because we were talking to Lonnie. He was like, they're going to go, and
right.
it's like 50 men, but that's 50 men. But what I have a good feeling, and maybe it's a bad prediction, that they're going to, like, House of Dragons finale was kind of, they just left it on a cliffhanger. It was a cool ending, but they didn't really close it. It was kind of like, aren't you going to be so excited to see what happens in 2 years?
But it was basically ended with everyone kind of pissed.
Yeah, but it was just kind of like, well, I need some kind of closure. I feel like a season closer should have some kind of closure.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling they're going to wrap this up.
Well, I think, and Gilroy all but said it in the various press things he's been doing. Season 1 is the story of what makes Andor a believer.
Yep.
In the rebellion. So I think we may not get like some epic battle, but I'm sure there'll be some sort of shot or moment at the end where it's clear that now he's a believer.
He's there
none of
for
this
sure.
Like, I'm only in it for me. By the end of this, and I think he's going to lose his mother, and after the whole prison shit, he's going to be like, fuck the Empire. Every one of these motherfuckers is going down.
Yeah, and also I don't have anything else to live for.
Nope.
Yeah, right.
And I'm mad.
Yeah.
And I'd like to get those credits back, and if that chick's still there.
Dude, well, I know he probably left some with his mom. Yeah. But yeah.
And that's a good enough resolution for me for season 1. Yeah. The story arc of him going...
Dude, like you said, man, if it ended this little, I would have been like, wow.
This would have been a fine, but it's not.
100%. It's fucking crazy.
Fucking A, y'all.
Making such a great show.
So Holy good. Shit. It's like in my wildest dreams, I didn't think we'd get something this smart.
No, man. No.
Any predictions, Curtis?
I didn't think they were... Dude, I don't have any fucking predictions other than... I don't. Shit. I don't really... I'm curious how they're going to get off of the planet.
Yeah.
And then,
Genevieve had the same question watching it, and for some reason I didn't. I mean, obviously you speculate. I don't feel like I need them necessarily to spoon feed that to me. I think they might give us some reference point, but for some reason I'm not.
Either that or it is like the next 2 episodes.
Well, yeah, maybe. Let's put it this way. There's plenty of times in Star Wars stories where you figure out where characters have gotten on planets.
Yeah.
They figure out they get some sort of transport off a planet to get to another planet. Like we've been down this road before. I mean, if you can roll into Mos Eisley and find a random smuggler and a Wookiee that can get you off, I'm sure Andor and this other dude that's with him can figure out a way to get off of whatever fucking planet they're on now.
That's so cool that they ran into Chewie and Han.
Yeah.
Of all people.
Oh, you mean
to get off of Mos Eisley?
Yeah.
Just think if they ran into 2 other cats. I don't know.
Couple dorks.
Couple fucking dickweeds.
Couple dickweeds. Who are these dickweeds? Yeah.
I'm feeling good, y'all.
Fuck
Dude. Can't wait for the next one.
It's going to be big. We
Shot
got 2
out
more.
of a cannon. And I don't have any predictions, man. I fucking wish I did.
But it's kind of fun because we can play the prediction game, but like you said last week, I have no fucking idea.
Who knows?
And that's what's a blast about it. You're genuinely on the edge of your seat to where the hell this thing is going to go next.
True.
So pumped. I've never been this excited for a show.
I know. It's great. I mean, I was saying to Genevieve, this is like the early days of Game of Thrones level good. With the number of characters and stories that are intertwining and the players moving around the board and who's positioned where and motivated by what. And some bad guys are bad, but they're not totally bad. I mean, you know,
Star Wars.
Clearly they're making Karn.
And it's Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, I still think as much as they're making Karn look like an evil psycho, remember how evil Jaime Lannister was for a while, and then all of a sudden he's suddenly a guy you empathize with later? For all we know, by second season, Karn could be a good guy, and we're like, this guy's fucking rules.
He could be knighting men.
When the writing is this good, it opens up those possibilities.
And Karn hasn't necessarily done anything as evil as Jaime Lannister.
No, he's just a fucking psycho.
Just watching us.
That is crazy. He pushed the kid out of the fucking window, and then you ended up somehow relating with him.
Yep.
He also was fucking his sister for a long time.
He did make love to his sister. That's wild. That's what they do in Game of Thrones, though.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
Well, shit, y'all. I ain't got nothing else to say.
Yeah, let's hit it. Punch it, Curtis.